In a little more than 2 weeks, Dodger Stadium will host the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Tonight it hosts two of the top teams in the National League. It's the Dodgers and the Padres. Game 3 in a 4-game series. Welcome inside. Joe Davis with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Ken Rosenthal joins us in a moment. This has, for the last few years, John, felt like one of the great brewing rivalries in baseball. And for a while last year, the Padres had the upper hand. But from the midway point last year, it's almost like the Dodgers said, not so fast.
Yeah, one team really wants it to be a rivalry, and that's the Padres. They've put together a roster the last couple of years, but the numbers show it's been a little bit more than that. It's been lopsided. It's been all Dodgers the last 11 years, but really the last 14 games, it really has been the button they push to say, okay, you want to beat us? Well, you got to come through us. And the Padres have done a very good job this offseason putting together their starting rotation. Two of the best in the game right now.
Yeah, and that is the biggest reason the Padres feel like this year can be different. That starting staff is really good, and you said it, both these staffs among the best in baseball.
Yeah, the Padres have taken a note really from years past where they're going to rely on their starters, and that's what they've done. The innings have been the most in baseball, but you really got to go through the Dodgers again. Look at what the Padres have done. They're second in the NL and all of those. You know why? Because the Dodgers are first, pretty much. The Dodgers set the mark. The Padres are coming after them this year because I think they've got a better team depth-wise than they did last year.
Good pitching matchup in this one. Yu Darvish doing it again for the Padres. Tyler Anderson, one of the breakout stars in the National League.
Really an incredible year for Anderson. Darvish has had the Dodgers number, and to stop their losing streak, he's going to have to be on this game tonight.
All right, we've got baseball night in America. It's the Padres and the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, of course, in Dodger blue, putting together a fantastic first season in L.A. Manny Machado, MVP candidate, has put the Padres on his back this season. It's the Padres and the Dodgers coming up on Baseball Night in America. And the Padres in recent seasons have played some intense, some thrilling games. They met in the division series in 2020. It was a 3-game sweep for the Dodgers after the Padres made the postseason for the first time since 2006. Fernando Tatis was the star of the show last year. Mookie Betts played his part as well. The Dodgers have won 4 or 5 this season and 13 of the last 14 going back to the midway point of last year. And so the standings in the National League West look like this. Dodgers with a 3.5-game lead over the Padres. Largest deficit the Padres have faced this season is 4 games. So in danger of falling to a season-high 4.5 back. Giants going through a slump. They've dropped 9 of their last 12 and sit 7.5 out of first place. Let's take a look at the Padres lineup here for Game 3. Jurickson Profar injected into that leadoff spot in late May, and he's been fantastic. Not too many guys in baseball have been better than Manny Machado this year, who's starting at third base, injured his ankle on June 19th. They've eased him back. Let's take a look at the Padres lineup here for Game 3. Jurickson Profar injected into that leadoff spot in late May, and he's been fantastic. Not too many guys in baseball have been better than Manny Machado this year, who's starting at third base, injured his ankle on June 19th. They've eased him back in this weekend. Jake Cronenworth bats third, then the first-year Padre Luke Voigt, another first-year Padre, and Jorge Alfaro DHs with Austin Nola catching. Ha-Sung Kim at short, Trent Grisham in center field, and the rookie Jose Azocar out of the 9th spot in right field. On the mound for the Dodgers, Tyler Anderson, who signed a 1-year contract and is 8-1 with by far his best career numbers.
Yeah, the Dodgers, when you get 2 pitchers that are 18-1, you're going to be in good shape. And that's what Anderson and Gonsolin have done. Anderson's done a nice job with that changeup, mixing in the fastball. Throw a 4-seam and 2-seam, but here's your mix. He doesn't really give you much to lean on. He will spray it around, but big thing about him is that changeup is a tough pitch to hit. If he can get enough fastballs over against this lineup, he's going to have success as he has all year.
And the league hitting 141 against that changeup of Tyler Anderson's. And had you said before the year, yeah, 2 Dodger pitchers combined to go 18-1, you'd say that's incredible. But you could kind of squint and see that happening. Walker Buehler, Julio Urias, Clayton Kershaw. No. Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson. Saving the day for that starting rotation. Gonsolin 7 2/3 last night to improve to 10-0 with a major league best 154. So the Dodgers win in the first 2 games of the series, 3-1 and 5-1. And on a perfect Saturday afternoon, we're ready for game 3. Dodgers 48 and 28, best record in the National League. Padres 46 and 33. Profar climbs in. Anderson comes home, and off we go with strike 1.
Profar, a much different hitter this year, especially against left-handers. Putting the ball in play, his average is up, and now in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, something Bob Melvin did in late May. Even though his numbers weren't really profiling as a leadoff hitter, they were having issues finding anybody that did, and they plugged him in there, and he's been fantastic since. What a job Bob Melvin has done in his first year as the manager. Over from Oakland. 1 ball and 2 strikes as he throws his first changeup of the day.
Yeah, you can see that changeup has the feeling of a fastball coming out of the hand, but watch how in front. Ball never gets there. Fade action, perfect location. Profar doesn't swing and miss many times against left-handed pitchers, and only 1 strikeout in his last 14.
On a 1-2 pitch, Profar takes a fastball high, and the count evens 2-2. Anderson seen these Padres once this season. It was in his first start because he actually began the year in the bullpen. 4 2/3 innings in San Diego in late April, gave up 2 runs. His 2-2 is golfed back of third, and that bright sunshine of this afternoon start. Justin Turner's got it for the first out. Turner's part of this Dodger defense. Lux in left field, Cody Bellinger in center, and Chris Taylor in right, at least for 1 more day, with Mookie Betts' return on the horizon. Turner's on the left side, Muncy at second. Freddie Freeman is the first baseman, and Will Smith does the catching for Anderson. You hear those boos? That is how Manny Machado is often greeted here at Dodger Stadium, where he spent the second part of 2018. And here in 22, John, better than ever.
Yeah, he's carrying the team. Their star player, Tatis, has not been obviously available to play this year, so Manny has really carried the team. And offensively on the road, it's been a different story for the Padres. It's hard to believe that they have such big difference road and home splits, but this man headed to the All-Star game more than likely, and coming back from an ankle injury that looked pretty bad.
That was on June 19th. They were in Colorado, and again, like you said, they're already without Fernando Tatis. Machado has carried them, and he goes down, and they're initially thinking it could be a month. He avoids an IL stint and returned to the lineup on Thursday night after missing 9 games. No balls and 2 strikes. It was scary looking.
Yeah, whenever you're a little bit thin, you don't want that right there. That could have been, as you mentioned, a long time, and credit to training staff and the work they put in to get him back to the field quicker.
And an 0-2 hole against Anderson, who deals and gets him with a changeup.
Well, he has that hesitation with the lower half, but his release point doesn't deviate at all. It's tremendous arm action. It comes out looking like a fastball, and then the changeup bottom drops out of it. He's really mastered that pitch. It's kind of a new one. He went to the 4-seam grip changeup versus the 2-seam grip changeup that he had previously thrown. And once he got command of that in the strike zone, or at least the vision that it's going to be in the strike zone, he has been outstanding.
2 up, 2 down in the first inning for Anderson. Jake Cronenworth watches ball 1. Ben May calling balls and strikes today. Cronenworth, Rookie of the Year runner-up in 2020, out of the middle of nowhere. He was kind of a throw-in the Tommy Pham trade. So Rookie of the Year runner-up in 20, and then last year an All-Star in his first full season.
Yeah, he's had a weird year.
He has.
He's had a streaky year, and he's a more contact hitter than he's proven this year. And I think that you find things out about as you adjust. Pitchers find different windows to go to expose the hitter. He's just too good of a hitter. You've seen those first 37 games, last 40, even in those last 40, he had a rough patch, but that's how good he's been in the last 40 compared to the first.
On a 1-1 from Anderson, Cronenworth fouls it off, and it's 1-2. He's still got an OPS close to 900 over the last month and a half, even though he has an 0 for 26 in there that he snapped on Wednesday and followed with back-to-back multi-hit games.
Good low ball hitter, good inner half. You saw him pull that one pitch foul. Pitcher in college as well.
Yeah, Michigan. 1-2 from Anderson, who drops down and strikes him out. Get him into chase to finish off a 1-2-3 first. Dodgers come to bat against you, Darvish, when you come back. Only lineup in baseball scoring 5 runs per game, and it's been keyed by these guys at the top of the order: Turner, Freeman, and Will Smith. The rest of the lineup looks like this. In this series, Muncy, Turner, and Bellinger have gotten going, combining for 4 home runs. Jake Lamb in his first week with the team, he DHs out of the 7 spot, and the corner outfielders 8 and 9, Taylor and Lux.
Strength against strength. This is a guy who has so many pitches. What a feel for pitching. He can throw, I bet you he could throw 10 if he wanted to. He has variations of every one of his breaking ball pitches. And this guy, when he throws strikes, he's tough to hit.
And he has been so tough on the Dodgers in his career. His first one to Trey Turner misses.
Well, the Dodgers, the strength of strength is they're the best in 2-strike hitting, the best against right-handed pitching. They don't expand the zone and swing outside the zone. So the cat and mouse game is going to be interesting to watch.
1 ball and strike on Turner. Darvish was the pitcher of the one Padres win over the Dodgers this year back in April. Just 1 hit over 6 shutout innings. 7 starts in his career against LA. His ERA is around 2. And he faces the reigning batting champ in the National League in Trey Turner. Fouls it off 1-2.
When you can throw the amount of breaking balls that Darvish has, you have to be not only athletic and tied into your mechanics, your hand and the feel for the baseball has to be secondary. I mean, second to none. And his ability to stay behind the pitch, spin it laterally, north and south. He's got a good split. And of course, he's got a way above average fastball that he'll probably use up in the zone against the Dodgers.
Deals 1-2 and gets a swing and a miss, opening his game with a strikeout. Over his last 4 starts, 27 Ks to only 3 walks.
Yeah, and the one thing he's doing better that he's done before, in my opinion, he's pounding strikes and not getting to 3-2, 2-2 to get strikeouts. That allows you to stay in the game more. His strikeouts may have gone down a little bit this year, but I think a big reason with this mix that he has, throwing strikes against a great team and an offensive team like the Dodgers, that's why he's had success, I believe, over the majority of their lineup.
He throws more strikes than any starting pitcher in the National League. Freddie Freeman goes after first pitch strike and comes up empty. It's been an emotional roller coaster over the last week or so for Freeman, who made that return to Atlanta. Tear-filled weekend. Back with the organization that he spent his first 12 seasons with in the majors before signing this 6-year deal with the Dodgers. 0-2.
See, that is impossible to hit. You can't cover 2 lanes. When Darvish is throwing that 2-seam fastball, it starts at the hip of the left-hander and he throws the first pitch backdoor cutter. The hitter has to give him something and says, okay, I'll tip my hat to you on the inner. If you do that again, I mean, Freddie's one of the elite to get a bat on the ball, but that covered both lanes. That is very difficult to hit.
Darvish deals an 0-2. A curve is hammered down the line. It is gone. Freddie Freeman home run. Dodgers strike first.
I didn't like this pitch. I'll tell you why. Fastball in, and then he throws a breaking ball in. When you have the hitter conscious of a pitch in, the better pitch would have been a split away or a fastball away. I told you Freddie's good at getting the barrel of the bat to the ball. Well, that was like a layup for him, because when he's trying to defend the fastball in that he just saw, like, oh, I can't hit that, he just drops the barrel of the bat on a breaking ball. A bad pitch selection, I believe, by Darvish right there.
Misses with his first one to Will Smith.
And the reason I say bad pitch selection, location-wise, he wasn't. The ball's coming back into him after a ball went away from him, so he's going to be conscious of a hitter on that plane. He was trying to bury that breaking ball to the back foot.
Missed, and Freeman made him pay. Will Smith now sends the ball in the air, right center field. As Okar's back at the wall, it's gone. Back-to-back home runs. We got just enough, and it's 2-0 Dodgers in the first.
Well, what do they say in the day? The ball goes a little bit farther in the day, and this one probably wouldn't have been a homer in the night. Who knows? It's not night, it's day. And Will Smith having a fantastic season. Waits on that breaking ball. And let's see if the Padres make a change a little bit and see more fastballs against this lineup, because so far there's been a lot of breaking balls and a lot of off speed.
5th home run for Will Smith in his last 11 games. And Yu Darvish, who had given up just 6 all year coming in, has given up 2. Now Muncy sends a ball to right center field. Grisham back onto the track to haul it in. You know, home runs were the biggest issue for Yu Darvish last year. He gave up 30 of them. He's been one of the best in the league at keeping the ball in the yard so far this year.
He has, and I told you he's got great hand of spinning the baseball, but right now his spin is a little bit on the side of the baseball, and when you're not getting that late tilt, that's a recipe for fly balls and a recipe for homers. So he's going to have to get on top of the baseball, because this ballpark won't hold a lot of them from this Dodger lineup if he's hanging them in the zone.
This Dodger lineup has now hit 12 home runs in its last 4 games. Justin Turner had 2 of them in the first game of the series on Thursday night. Took a hack at a fastball, came up empty.
Yeah, and obviously right now Turner's having some struggles with some fastballs and the timing of it. But I mean, that's only what, the 2nd fastball we've seen out of Darvish. So he has the ability to come in and pitch, but that fastball plays, and he's going to have to start showing the Dodgers a few more fastballs. Looks like they're sitting on breaking balls.
Turner yanks one towards the left field corner, hooking out of here. 3 home runs in the first inning for the Dodgers.
Mechanical adjustment. Dave Roberts talked about the timing of that leg. Fastball supposed to be away, comes back inner half, where Justin Turner absolutely rushed it on a line down the line. And you talk about shell-shocked. Darvish been rolling coming into this game. 3 spot early.
Last 4 starts, you mentioned the strikeout to walk ratio. He's 3-0 with a 1.61. Really one bad start this year. Came against the Giants in his 2nd start. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball otherwise. Cody Bellinger grounds the first one foul. And he's of course back in the ballpark where he had the disastrous outing in Game 7 of the World Series in a Dodger uniform in 2017. Since then though, anytime he's faced the Dodgers, he's shut them down. And that's included some gems on this mound.
I mean, I know, you know, the pitcher has to try to go through his computer and say, what in the world is going on? And it's hard when you give up 3 runs right away, and there's the World Series debut. But somehow, some way, you got to refocus and get some outs and pitch some innings here, and hope your offense can kind of help you out. Again, I'd like to see a high fastball. They don't use the buttons because he has too many pitches, so that system doesn't work.
Bellinger down the line, foul.
And there was a high fastball, but it floated a little bit. You get it up above the belt to Bellinger, and that really becomes a bigger hole for him. Anything down, he has a better chance. Bounce it, he'll swing and miss. From about the shins to the knees, he'll crush it.
That's what he got last night when he hit his 3rd home run against the Padres in 5 games against them. 11th of the year for the former MVP. Yu Darvish fires an 0-2. That's a splitter that misses, and it's 1-2.
You know, pitchers don't do it as much anymore because the game is being more called for them. But if you have this many pitches, you got to use the wipe system, because otherwise you got to go through too many signs, right? And so you add above or subtract below, meaning you wipe your glove and you can get to the pitch you want as a pitcher. There's the pitch up.
Yep, that high fastball to the hole of Bellinger. But Yu Darvish jolted in his first inning by the power from the Dodgers. It's Freddie Freeman hitting his 10th of the year. Will Smith followed with his 13th. Justin Turner his 3rd of the weekend, and it's 3-0 in the blink of an eye. First inning for the Dodgers, Freeman, Smith, and Turner. And it's 3-0 with Tyler Anderson on the mound for the Dodgers. Just 12 pitches to work a 1-2-3 first. Comes home to Luke Voit. 1 ball, no strikes.
Voit, all or nothing lately, and a lot of swing and misses. You see the average is low. He got some power, but against left-handers this year has been a high swing and miss guy, especially on the off-speed pitches.
This guy led the majors in home runs with the Yankees in the short 2020 season. And last year, injuries crept up, lost his spot when they got Anthony Rizzo, traded him to the Padres. And this year he's dealt with injuries, some biceps tendonitis that shut him down. And before it shut him down, he was playing through the pain. He said altering his swing to get around the pain, and yet to hit his stride in a Padres uniform as a result.
Those 100-pound curls will do it.
And if you got it, flaunt it. He goes after a 3-0 and rips a line drive down the line into the corner. Luke Voit, first base hit of the game for the Padres, on his way to second with a leadoff double.
I tell you, that's risky there. You want to get runners, so he made it happen by getting a 3-0 hit. But can you imagine making a 3-0 out down 3-0? They say if you're going to swing 3-0, you got to make it happen, and he did.
Now the Padres in 5 games against the Dodgers have scored 8 runs this year. I think that it is clear for Bob Melvin, for everybody with the Padres, it's just a completely different lineup without Fernando Tatis, who they hope to have back by the end of July. That broken wrist suffered this offseason in a motorcycle accident. Great to have that guy back, though. He's carried him. Here's Jorge Alfaro. Strike 1 and a change. Alfaro's another guy who has had stretches where he's put the team on his back and been a pleasant surprise in his first year with San Diego.
Yeah, he's a good hitting catcher. He's come up with some big hits for him.
He's already got a couple walk-off hits. He's already got a mural of him on a building in San Diego.
I'll tell you, the team as a whole, though, does a good job putting the ball in play for the most part. And you know, their offense is a little puzzling why they don't score at home, and they've scored on the road. And if they could match a little bit more offense with the pitching they've been getting, this team's going to be tough, you know, come down the stretch if they relatively stay healthy in their pitching staff, which did not happen last year. And big difference why they were close to the Dodgers around the same time this year and then completely disappeared.
They lost 33 of their last 45 games last year, and after leading for a chunk of May, being right there in the picture like you talked about until the second half, they finished 28 games out of first place. Almost unfathomable. And then you look at the guys that they dealt without, and it makes more sense. That's a pop-up. Freeman down the line into foul ground, makes the catch. 1 gone in the second inning, and we bring in Ken Rosenthal.
And Joe, the Padres rank 11th in the majors in runs per game. And you sort of wonder how they're doing it. They've been without Tatis all season, as you guys mentioned. Manny Machado recently missed 10 games. The last 2 nights, they had Nomar Mazara batting in the cleanup spot. That's Nomar Mazara, who was released by the Tigers last July, signed with the Padres minor league deal in December. 2 catchers in the lineup today trying to get something going. 2 guys who have been key for them and will be critical going forward. Voit, we saw with a double, and Jake Cronenworth.
All right, Kenny. It's going to be like the greatest trade deadline pickup ever, though, getting Tatis back in a few weeks. Here's one of those 2 catchers in the lineup today, and Austin Nola attacking the first pitch. Roller to third, Justin Turner. 2 gone. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect the stuff you love with renter's insurance. And by Budweiser Zero. Full flavor, 0% alcohol, 100% on your game.
You know, with all the numbers we get to look at, I mean, they're the best against left-handed starters, left-handed pitchers. And they've come to the plate, the hitters have, with runners in scoring position more than anybody. So there's a lot of things that don't make sense when you think about where they are. And we documented they don't have Tatis. That's drastically going to change their lineup. But getting some hits in the right time changes your fortune, especially when you're getting the kind of pitching performances that they have of late.
Ha-Seong Kim, who's been the everyday shortstop with Tatis out. Yeah, in this series alone, they're 2 for 23 with men on base. And then just overall, not a whole lot of pop there. They're 24th in the majors in slug. It's 1-1 on Kim. Second season with the Padres and in the majors. Over from Korea. They're very encouraged with his growth. He's a wizard defensively, and the bat has gotten better.
That's why there's some talk possibly if Tatis playing center field, you know, with the defense that he's provided at short. But we'll see. That's still a ways off, according to some of the reports, that where he is in his rehab and when he can return.
Takes a change for a strike 1 and 2. And Tatis starting to swing the bat with a little more vigor. Or what they had originally hoped would be late June, early July. That time is come and gone, and still waiting on him to ramp that rehab up. On a 1-2 pitch, Ha-Seong Kim lines the ball into center field, base hit. Bellinger plays it on a hop. Voit stopped at third. Now Voit, in addition with dealing with that biceps tendonitis, has dealt with some hamstring tightness, so not pushing the envelope with him. And they're at the corners with 2 out.
Yeah, that's really tough too, because the secondary lead needs to be bigger. I know you're talking about the speed, but with 2 outs and really where they were playing, I'm not so sure that lead was big enough. And 2 outs, you're going at the crack of the bat, and those are the kind of things that you need to cash in against a great team and a good pitcher that's having a fantastic year in the Dodgers.
So they finally come up with a hit with a man on base, but it doesn't score anybody. And the baton pass to Trent Grisham, who hit a home run last night. And overall this year it's been rough.
I think we got the 2 lowest batting averages in this park, right? Something like that.
Yeah, Muncy and Grisham.
Hard to believe that those 2 would be the ones we'd be talking about.
Grisham in 2020, Johnny. I mean, as the Padres made that playoff run, this guy ignited things. This was one of the bright young players in baseball. They got him in that trade from Milwaukee, but has struggled the last 2 years. On an 0-1 from Anderson, takes strike 2.
Well, and that's one of the things that he's done all year. He takes a lot, doesn't swing and expand the zone much, but you got to wonder if you don't deviate some of this, you're in a 2-strike count a lot. And then when pitchers know, you know, if you can make pitches against a guy who's struggling and get ahead of him, it gets way harder to hit with 2 strikes. He's only hitting 122 with 2 strikes on the year.
2-strike pitch here gets him, and Tyler Anderson gets out of the jam. Couple of hits but no runs to the bottom of the second. 3-0 LA. A couple scoreless innings for Tyler Anderson. Yu Darvish back to the mound for the second, and Jake Lamb to lead off. Bounces the first one off of the hands into the shift for the first out. You still have a free chance to win $10,000 of Big Papi's money tonight playing Fox Bet Super 6. Just scan the QR code now, download the Super 6 app, and get your picks into the MLB Super 6 Challenge for a free chance at $10,000. So Darvish, after getting knocked around in that first inning to the tune of 3 home runs, the first 3 home run inning in his regular season career, gets an out on 1 pitch.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I don't know if it's collectively scouting report. What the Dodgers have shown me is they are aggressive beyond their norm, attacking a lot of early pitches against Darvish.
Well, you said it earlier. He's in the strike zone this year more than ever, and he gets to 2 strikes. Good luck.
Yeah, it's interesting on an approach when a lot of breaking ball first pitches. I mean, that's what you can see. You can see the ground ball out. You can get that. But we haven't seen many fastballs, and the pitches that were hit a long way, again, were the spin variety. So I know the plan on each side has a plan, and right now the Dodgers are executing better than Darvish.
His 0-2 to Taylor is a fastball swatted down the line, foul.
I mean, on the season, just to put it in context, I mean, that's what I love about the cat and mouse game. The Dodgers are the 5th lowest swing percentage team, right? So you really have to work. That lineup over the last couple of years has made pitchers pay if they haven't worked ahead in the count. And so they've come out today on a day game and said, we're gonna be aggressive.
Remains at 0-2 on Chris Taylor. Dodgers with 7 home runs in 17 innings in this series. Another 0-2 from you, Darvish. And Chris Taylor, who is an all-star for the first time last year, re-upped with the Dodgers this offseason. Finds himself in a slump right now, and this series is 1 for 7 and has struck out 6 times. On a 1-2 pitch, Taylor swats it foul. So Darvish, John, has thrown 24 pitches, and the Dodgers have swung at 18 of them.
Yeah, and again, the recipe of success for a starting pitcher or any pitcher, if you make quality pitches down in the zone, you're going to get a lot of outs. If this team's swinging right now, they're swinging at a lot of his breaking balls, and I mean, they're getting good swings on him. That's why at some point the Padres got to say, okay, we got to zag here, and we got to throw that fastball a little bit more.
Outside.
Threw on there, but missed.
It's not like it's 85 in a show pitch. Right. It's 96.
And the league's hitting 154 against his.
And he's always been a guy that loves to manipulate the baseball. So that's going to be his priority. We saw that right out of the gate. But at some point, you have to be able to throw that fastball and say, okay, I'm going to change it up on it.
Back
outside.
to the spin, full count.
Well, this was a good pitch if you got a swing and miss on that previous fastball, but he took that previous fastball for a ball, which put him in a sight pattern to say, okay, that one I can't hit anyways, I'm going to lay off of it. But when a guy swings at it, he almost always swings at that next pitch on a breaking ball.
On the 9th pitch, it is a good one to get Taylor swinging for Darvish's 3rd K.
And see, that's the difference of what he can do to the breaking ball. He changed speeds. That was more of the curveball break. The other ones were sharp and out of the zone. See how that one stayed in the zone and caught the corner? That's the breaking ball where he's going to get a ton of swings and misses.
Two up, 2 down in the 2nd inning, and out of the 9th spot, here's Gavin Lux, 24-year-old in his 4th season with the majors, and finally fulfilling some of that huge potential, some of the hype that he came up with as their top prospect. Cracks the first one that he sees right at a Zokar, and it's off his glove. Lux on his way to 2nd. Those balls hit right at you can be so tough, especially on a bright afternoon like this, and a Zokar couldn't get it.
Well, he's got the glasses on, but you can watch his head. We were watching the head of his when the ball got to the glove, it almost looked like he looked away or thought he had it. Fastball hit right at him. Now watch this. See how he thinks he's got the ball in the glove? And he just didn't.
Padres have been one of the best defensive teams in the league. Would have been a good play. It's ruled a double. Inning kept alive for Trey Turner. served over short, down for a base hit. Here comes Lux. No throw from Profar. Dodgers take advantage and lead 4-0.
See, those are backbreakers right there. You're out of the inning, or at least you think you are, and then you make a pretty good pitch to a really good hitter. But see how it just stays right on the middle of the plate instead of turning the plate. He gets it off the end of the bat. And the Dodgers are rolling against the Padres. They have had their number of late, and until something changes, you internally feel like you're a better ball club, right? Even though the two clubs or rosters are really good, people say, how do you explain a 13-1 stretch? Well, it's hard to explain, but when you explain the 11-year dominance that the Dodgers have had, for the most part, the Padres didn't have that roster the last 2 to 3 years. It should be a little bit more even than it has been.
A little bit high on Freeman. You talk about it from the winning side. You expect to win. The mindset on the other side, it's got to get to a dark place.
Yeah, it does. You just think, what next, right? You lose close games. But let's not forget, I mean, we talked about it. They jumped out winning the first 7 out of 8 last year.
A broken bat, teardrop into left field, and everything going the Dodgers' way right now. Darvish was an inch away from a 1-2-3 inning. Zokar can't haul in the hot shot from Lux. RBI hit from Turner and a broken bat hit from Freddie Freeman.
And that's what happens. Things like this go against you. Darvish just trying to get out of the way of the bat.
When the Dodgers saw you, Darvish, in April, 1 hit, no runs in 6 innings of work, 4 runs on 6 hits and 1+ here. Ruben Niebla, the pitching coach, out for a visit. So download the MLB app to get video highlights, live pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your favorite team and for the rest of the league. Well, the Dodgers, the only team in the majors scoring 5 runs per game. It's been interesting, though. First couple months of the year, they were far and away the best lineup in baseball. In June, they struggled. They were down in the bottom half of the majors. Part of that was out without that man there in Mookie Betts. But not quite as relentlessly dominant as you figured the lineup might be coming in.
Yeah, I agree. And that just bodes well for a team that just keeps winning, right? And just finds pitching and finds ways. They're a little bit thin right now just with the injuries, but you couldn't tell it by their record.
48-28. Enter the day with a half-game lead in the New York Mets for the best record in the National League. 2 on 2 out. Will Smith takes a ball. Homered his first time up.
To hit a right-handed pitcher with a great breaking ball, if you think pulled the whole time, you're going to pull off a lot of those breaking balls and miss. And his first at bat, he stayed on the ball and went to right field on a breaking ball and got rewarded with a homer. That's how you change it up. You know, if you're looking spin, the reason pitching becomes easy is if the hitter only has one side of the field that he's trying to hit the ball, then you can expose him and swing and miss with a lot of breaking balls. But if he's staying on the ball and protecting the center to right center, then you've got to beat him with fastballs. That's what you got to read in what he's trying to do.
Outside.
And the opposite's true for when Anderson's on the mound. If you're trying to pull, his changeup's going to eat you up. But if you stay to the middle to the right center, then his changeup won't fool you as much. And every hitter in the game wants to hit the fastball. They don't want to get beat with the fastball, so therefore that secondary pitch can expose them.
A 2-1 pitch, backs up. Smith lofts it to left field. Profile line back at first, now comes on and makes the play to end the inning. Trey Turner knocks in a run, and Trey Turner is going to be playing short with an earpiece and a microphone when we come back. Dodgers 4, Padres nothing. It was was Trey Turner's birthday. It was Trey Turner bobblehead giveaway day, and his dad Mark threw a first pitch strike. And Trey is mic'd up for us with the earpiece in as this inning begins. Jose Azocar takes ball one. Hey, your dad's got a pretty good arm, Trey.
Yeah, he threw me quite a bit of BP when I was growing up, so I had all the faith in him. He was a little nervous before, but perfect strike.
Hey, take us through what you're looking for here to begin the inning.
Oh, I know he's pretty fast. I like checking out the stats. Kind of just seeing what kind of hitter these guys are. If they're coming in hot or, maybe struggling, whatever it is, try to give me an idea. And then, you think about the type of pitches that Tyler throws and how they play into some guys' swings. So, for me, I'm kind of looking for that weak contact going forward on that changeup right there, like that, and try to make a play.
He's been awesome, hasn't he? Tyler Anderson all year, so good for you guys.
Yeah, he's been big time. Really all of our pitches have really stepped up.
That's a base hit for Azocar. To open this third.
Muncie's got you.
Back to the top of the order, Jurickson Profar. Trey, I know you made an adjustment earlier this season as far as your positioning, your depth. What went into that decision, and how big of a change was it?
Yeah, I felt like I was playing pretty good defense this year for the most part. Obviously, everyone makes a few errors here or there, but I feel like overall it's been really good. So I was just wondering why the numbers kind of said that I was struggling a little bit, and had my agency and the Dodgers as well kind of look into it. And really the only thing I could find is that I was playing like 3 feet farther back than I had in years past. And I was getting dinged on balls in front of me. I guess I wasn't making those compared to other shortstops. And so just took one big step in, and all the numbers just started going up. And I guess that was really the only adjustment, because like I said, I felt like I was playing pretty good.
Is that something that just over time you had drifted back?
Say that again?
Is that something that just over time you had drifted back?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I always just kind of played on the cut. So, some infields are a little bit bigger than others. But I kind of just always played right on the edge of the grass. And I don't know if the infield might be slightly bigger here than in D.C. or whatever it may be. But I guess, those are the numbers. And that was just the small adjustment I had to make.
2-1 on Jurickson Profar. Back to Anderson. They get the out at second. Profar aboard on the fielder's choice.
I almost ran into you right there. I'm glad I didn't either.
Yeah, that's a big man over there.
Yeah.
So without giving away secrets, what are you looking at there?
Say that again?
Without giving away any secrets, what are you looking at on the card?
Anybody can really look at this, to be honest.
Really?
So this is really just tell me where to stand in every count of every possible situation. So I jokingly show everybody, because basically where I'm standing right now is all the card says.
For Machado.
Hey, I can get you on a ground ball once. I got you on a ground ball. Solve that one.
Trey, I want to know how significantly different is a day game versus a night game. We've seen the ball jump already early in this game.
Oh yeah, it's big. We always look at the exit velocities and the launch angles and whatnot. And Freddie's hit a lot of balls this year to left center at night that kind of haven't carried. It's way different during the day than it is at night. I think it makes it kind of interesting. As a hitter, it kind of stinks a little bit. You want it to fly all the time, but it's kind of cool how some days you got to play the elements. But for me, it's defense. You know, the backstop's a little different than other fields with so much netting for the fans, which I think is actually pretty cool. But it makes it hard to see during day games because there's so many white shirts and white jerseys back there. It makes it a little tough for us.
The 1-0 to Machado. Ooh, foul back. Is Dodger Stadium particularly tough during day games seen?
Yeah, I think it's a little tougher to see at the plate. Some guys do better than others, and some days are different. But yeah, I would say a little bit bright in the beginning of the day, but as the day goes on, it gets better and better. It's a good backdrop, good batter's eyes, so that helps. You just got to fight the sun a little bit.
One ball, one strike. Here comes
Turner.
Backhand play. Turner out at second.
Yeah.
Wow. A double play. Nice stuff, Trey. We appreciate you taking some time for us.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Only a month.
Dodgers 4, Padres nothing to the last of the third. Max Muncy leads off against Yu Darvish and takes strike one.
Max Muncy, even though his average is not where he wants it, of course, he still gets some walks. He still takes a lot of pitches. He and Turner both hit with their legs in different ways. You can see the squatted position. And just when you get off just a little bit, Justin Turner with a high leg kick, and then Max Muncy looks like he's just sitting there ready to come out of those legs and launch a ball when he's right.
Two-time All-Star. Injured his elbow on the final day of the regular season last year. Didn't play in the postseason. Rehabbed that elbow injury through the offseason, but it lingered into this year. Slow start. Shut him down for a little bit. Went down to AAA. And has shown some signs of improvement since coming back from that rehab. Hit a home run last night. He's ahead here 3-1.
Well, when he was right and reinvented his swing, he didn't miss anything middle third in the plate. I mean, he crushed it, and he didn't expand the zone. So that's a tough thing for a pitcher to try to bait him outside. When the pitch inside, he just won't miss if you make a mistake.
On a 3-1 from Darvish, Muncy watches strike two. Tim Hill already warming in the Padres bullpen. Max Muncy starting the third. Let's check in with Ken.
Well, Joe, Max Muncy had an interesting comment last week. He said, the whole year I've been working really hard, but maybe a bit too hard. Now, what he meant is that elbow, you just talked about the surgery, it needed time to heal. Actually, he did not have surgery, but it needed time to heal. And the problem is, when a hitter is struggling, what does he do? He hits and hits some more, and he was grinding too much. So lately, he's backed off a little bit. He's got a better routine. He understands where he is physically. He's doing less than before.
He strikes out here. Fourth one for Darvish. One gone in the third.
Vertical break in the strike zone. That's the pitch that he has had success with. And the Dodgers haven't expanded too much off the plate, which makes it difficult on starting and any pitchers that come in this ballpark.
One gone in this inning. Justin Turner, longest tenured position player for the Dodgers, 37 years old. His 9th year with the team. Has hit 3 home runs this weekend. Came into this series with 4 total. That one backs up and misses 1-0.
Well, even though he's been struggling and he's been better of late, Dave Roberts said, look, the reason he's in the position he is in the batting order is because he's still my best professional hitter with a run opportunity to be driven in. Of course, Freddie's still one of those elite. But he said, I'll take my chances with Justin Turner. No matter what the metric says, he knows how to drive in a run, and That's what he does better than anybody. Pitch is down, and Turner was like, what?
1 ball, 1 strike. Darvish fires. Turner takes strike 2. You know, RBIs, of course, somewhat circumstantial. You got to have guys in to drive them in, but there's definitely something to the skill of having the approach and the swing to do that.
Oh, absolutely. That skill always shows up in the postseason. You might be able to hide it in the regular season, but you would be, I mean, maybe not shocked. Most people would not understand that there is a art to still being able to make contact rather than always trying to hit a 3-run homer. And a lot of guys in the league are getting rewarded and not punished for swing and miss, homers, walks, strikeouts. Well, that doesn't win in the postseason. That's why the Dodgers perennially are some of the better offenses in the postseason. Tough to get them out.
Out of the 1-2 is low for ball 2. Well, just across the sport, the pay structure right now rewards slug. Yep. Good. Rewards on base. Good. That's the point, right? Getting on base, slugging. But it doesn't reward things like RBIs and hitting with runners in scoring position. So you don't blame guys who take big swings when you consider that that's what they're rewarded for. Turner's got his second base hit of the day down the left field line. Profar over to cut it off and hold Turner to a single. But it does feel like maybe it's this year with the ball not flying quite as well as it has in recent seasons. You're seeing more guys adopt situational approaches.
Well, they need to, and I know they're looking at the data and they're watching exit velocity off the bat and seeing what the distances are compared to where it was before. But I think there is a term called selfish at bat, and if you have too many selfish at bats, you're not going to have team victories. And you can override a few of them, but I just think that it still begs for the team that puts the ball in play, and there are some prolific teams that do that as good as anybody, and it's hard to win a championship when you don't.
Bellinger struck out his first time, swings and misses. And you're right about the postseason. If you look at the pennant winners over the last 5 to 7, 8 years, they almost all are in the top 3 or 4 in baseball in making contact.
Yep. I look back 25 years, and the highest team that I remember in my collective memory was, I believe, the 04 Red Sox. I think they might have been 5th most strikeouts or 6th or something like that. But the fact is, they never in the top 10 rarely. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You might get a team that sneaks in there, but they don't last because you're facing elite pitchers. And if I don't have to change, meaning you just keep swinging at balls out of the zone. And so this lineup has always been one of the toughest at navigating, getting through it.
You wouldn't have known it last night. 17 strikeouts for Dodger hitters. They've been playing baseball for a long time, Dodgers have. That's the first time they've ever won a game where they struck out 17 times.
That's pretty amazing. And the guy that the year he's having, if you're going to win a game like that, Gonsolin was the guy to be on the mound, because he has been just unreal.
A 1-2 is lifted down the left field line over his Profar into the shadows. He's got it. Bellinger's out number 2. This is the site of the All-Star game, and on Friday the starters will be revealed at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Monday, July 18th, the T-Mobile Home Run Derby, also on ESPN, all leading up to the 2022 MLB All-Star game. Live from Los Angeles, Tuesday, July 19th, starting at 7 Eastern, only on Fox.
I think we got a chance, barring no setbacks, we have a chance for a 3-peat Home Run Derby. Pete
Alonso. He's so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch in that event. Jake Lamb with 2 away. Takes high. And are we going to see that guy you're talking about, Tony Gonsolin, start for the National League?
Well, I tell you what, he's only going to have one more start. I don't think anything's going to change that would change my mind to start somebody else.
1-1 on Lamb. Above and Beyond, sponsored by Jersey Mike. Some of the candidates. Joe Musgrove has been awesome for the Padres this year. 8-2 with a .225. Dropped the first game of this series. But overall, a great body of work. And Sandy Alcantara.
Oh, I love that. I think he's got the makings of a dynamite career. That is an electric arm the Marlins have.
Off Nola's glove. Muncy into scoring position, or Turner into scoring position.
But it's just ironic that the two best pitchers on the Dodgers right now don't light up a radar gun. They pitch, and there's room for that in rosters. There is. And is it sustainable throughout the whole year? Well, we're going to find out. But I think the ability to pitch mix and match speeds and throw enough strikes is why you're seeing the success of these two guys. I've always liked Tony Gonsolin. I thought it was way above his years as far as when he broke in, the ability to pitch. Of course, he got bounced around, had some shoulder issues, and so far so good, really. What a first half.
Lamb swats one off the end of the bat. Profar over, lays out, and can't get it. Turner in to score on a Jake Lamb double. Lamb knocks in his first run in the Dodger uniform, and it's 5-0 as they've scored in all 3 innings against Darvish.
Well, the Dodgers are finding ways. They belted a couple home runs, hit a ball really hard, and then been able to find hits with 2 outs. This one off the end of the bat. An outstanding effort by Profar. Looked like he might have caught it, but then the ball comes out of his glove as he hits the ground. Looks like it's one of those games so far for the Padres, and the trend that has been going all Dodgers.
LA trying to win the 5th and the 6th matchups against the Padres this year, the 14th out of the last 15 back to last August. 2 away, and the hitter's Chris Taylor. Darvish fires. Strike 1. Yu Darvish, 35 years of age. It's in his 10th season in the majors. It's hard to believe. He's been around for a decade now. 5 years with the Rangers, Dodgers at the end of 2017, 3 years with the Cubs, and in his 2nd year with the Padres. Fastest pitcher in Major League history to reach 1,000 strikeouts. Is 0-1. There's that big looping curveball, one of the many offerings of Yu Darvish.
Ball pops out of his hand, looks like a ball to the hitter, and comes straight down into the strike zone. Yu Darvish, the last, I don't know how many years it's been now, so exclusively out of the stretch. Well, when he pitched out of the windup, he had such deception along with that stuff, but he's condensed his delivery to always be pitching out of the stretch. You know, I know that's kind of what the trend that's happened, but man, when they allow you to pitch out of the windup, there's a reason. And there should be ability to have more leverage and deception against the hitter than when he always sees you out of the stretch, in my opinion. But because it condenses the mechanics and allows you to be more clean, a lot of pitchers are going to that side winding kind of stretch delivery, and the hitter gets to see that every single time.
Taylor a little bit hobbled after following that one off.
For whatever reason, on this given day, Darvish has kind of really gone to the cutter. About 50% of his pitches have been the cutter. And again, we asked Bob Melvin, and he said he usually goes in with a plan. Like he really has a good feel, but doesn't have any one way of pitching, because when you got 6 pitches, which really his 6, I've heard him talk about what those 6 actually are. They're closer to 10 because he manipulates 2 of those 3 different ways. So he adds pitches even though there's not a 7th pitch called or an 8th or 9th or 10th. He makes it on his own.
Like you said, he can't use pitch count because there's not enough buttons on the wristband. They got to make a Yu Darvish pitch count version 2.0.
So looking at the card on the count, 0-2, typically what Taylor will do on an 0-2 count.
Yeah, you always try to get on it's cliche, get on the same page. They're literally trying to get on the same page. Like, what chapter are we in? What chapter are your pitches? What page do I need to flip to you? Still 0-2 on Chris Taylor. Jake Lamb at second with 2 gone here in the third.
Taylor's had a hard time with breaking balls, especially with 2 strikes. But then again, so does most of the league.
Everybody clap, 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 clap.
7 pitch coming from Yu Darvish to Chris Taylor. 64th of the game here in the third inning. Dodgers with 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. And another 0-2. Gets him. Taylor strikes out for the second time. It's the 5th for Yu Darvish. But the Dodgers have scored in each of the 3 innings. To the middle innings we go. 5-0 LA. Didn't wait around. 3 home runs in the first inning against Yu Darvish. Freeman, Smith, and Turner all going deep. Added 1 in the second, 1 in the third. Looking for their 3rd consecutive win in this series over the Padres. Looking for their 9th win out of their last 12 overall. Yeah, looking for another good one from Tyler Anderson, who comes home to Jake Cronenworth with ball 1.
Now, as the game progresses, you can start seeing a little bit of the shadows. Starts getting a little tougher.
He likes to drop down like that every now and then, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a tough angle against lefties. He gives them an illusion of really an added pitch, even though it's, you know, recorded as a fastball or a slider from 2 different angles.
Ooh, the rare double up on it. 1-2. I would imagine you're not toying with things like that unless you're really comfy.
Yeah, you got to have a good feel for release point, because when you change your release point, you don't want that to have an adverse reaction to your natural lower 3/4 that he already throws out of.
3 straight drop downs, knocks it down, and just barely gets Cronenworth through his changeup, the first.
You know, he has that lower half kind of double kick hesitation. Right here, a little boom, boom, and then he'll change that arm angle, and he finishes in a good enough position to handle his position when comebackers come his way. But rarely, he probably won't do that much against a right-hander. It's primarily left on left.
Here's Luke Voigt, a guy that's got a great look at Tyler Anderson throwing, is Ken Rosenthal.
Well, I was talking to Tyler Anderson yesterday about dropping down, and I asked him, all right, what is it about the Dodgers that enables them to get the most out of their pitchers? And he said they encourage you to be yourself. He's played for teams where when he dropped down, the pitching coach would ask him, what are you doing? But the Dodgers say, go ahead, do what you need to do. And he recalled when he was with the Rockies facing Justin Turner, and he said, hey, I throw Justin Turner 8 or 9 pitches. I couldn't get him out. I had to drop down. So basically, it's another way of getting hitters out, and the Dodgers just tell these guys, do your thing.
Tyler Anderson is in his 7th year in the majors now. Those 4 years Kenny mentioned in Colorado, and then he bounced from the Giants to the Pirates to the Mariners, and has had stretches where he's been good, but never quite like this. 2 up, 2 down, and a couple comebackers, and Jorge Alfaro takes high.
Well, he's sneaky fast with his fastball, and the reason he's sneaky fast is because the changeup has got such difference of velocity off of his fastball. It makes the fastball look harder. So when you go up there kind of as a hitter, you know he's going to throw you at least a changeup, at least proportionally. That's what it feels like.
Outside.
And so you better be really good at attacking the fastball when it's there, or laying off the changeup when you think you recognize. Good luck with that. See, when Glavine pitched in the era he pitched in, every hitter wanted to pull him. And so by throwing that changeup after changeup, and if you try to pull a changeup, you're going to hit ground ball after ground ball, and they never really wanted to go the other way. and couldn't sit back and wait.
Sorry.
Not many guys throw a changeup this much. Nobody in baseball right now throws a changeup this slow. You got to wait forever.
That's the thing.
And ever.
The difference between the fastball and changeup is really big, and it works to his advantage because everybody wants to get out and hit the barrel of the bat to that ball.
And so the 91, 92 ends up looking a heck of a lot harder too.
Absolutely. And not many hitters change their approach. So if it's a guy who throws 100 or a guy who throws 80, the approach is the same. When in reality, certain pitchers, if you have the ability to change your approach, you should, because you take away their strength if you do.
Alfaro chases a change. Good example.
Yeah, that's that right there is just set on. I'm going to swing if the ball's close, and that pitch wasn't anywhere close. So if you're really still looking at trying to get on base, there would be no reason to come out of your shoes to swing at this 3-1 pitch. And that's good pitching, obviously, by Anderson to combat that.
Fouled off.
Right.
And you hear the term slow him down, speed him up, slow him down, speed him up. And that was a perfect example right there. 3-1, he slowed him down. 3-2, he tried to sneak the fastball by him. So now he's got Alfaro kind of guessing. Now, if I'm guessing along with the pitcher, if you're a guess hitter, I would be sitting to fight off a fastball, but sit on something slow. We'll see what he does.
With another 3-2. Missed with the fastball.
And even if you have that approach right there and you're sitting slow, you recognize that fastball's a ball.
So the first walk of the game issued by Tyler Anderson. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Allstate, reminding you that baseball season is mayhem. And by Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. Not just the first walk by Anderson, but the first walk drawn by the Padres since the 8th inning on Thursday. And it comes from one of the most aggressive guys in the league in Alfaro. Keeps the inning going for Nola. It's ball one. Boston Nola, a converted infielder who was kind of stagnant in the minors. Double-A, Triple-A, was at shortstop, and he's thinking, look, maybe I'm going to retire, or I got to make a big change. And so he winds up making two big changes. He changes his swing, but he also changes positions and plays catcher for the first time in his life. He was in the Marlin system at that point and said, I'm going to give it one more go. If this doesn't work, okay. Move back to Baton Rouge. Family's got a construction company. Get involved in that. Maybe do some coaching. It worked, though. And he went to the Mariners, got his first chance in the big leagues, traded to the Padres, and he's been so valuable since coming over. Pokes one to right. Taylor on the move. He gets there with a sliding play to finish off the fourth. Gavin Lux to start the fourth for the Dodgers is 9-1-2 come up against Yu Darvish. And for the first pitch of the inning, having a recycle. Dodgers got 3 in the first inning on 3 homers, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. One of the first times ever they're getting to Darvish. Strike one.
Well, Darvish 21 plus pitches per inning, 64 before that pitch. So they'd like to get a couple more innings if they could, and he can get some quicker outs. It's been everything the Dodgers have tried is worked. Off the end of the bat, bullets.
Ready to go?
Darvish to Lux with a 1-1. There's a curveball popping in there for a strike. Hard to watch that pitch and not smile. Borderline ephus.
And just think how much the hitter has his own radar gun in his eyes. Think how that slowed him down when he saw a pitch like that.
And then something in the middle there. Speed wise, back foots to Lux for the strikeout. 6th one for Darvish. Back to the top of the order, and time for StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Taking a look at the 3 home runs for the Dodgers today, all coming in the first inning.
All coming on bad location pitches, and they took advantage of it. Freeman, of course, his was the hardest. Turner might have been the quickest out, meaning on a line.
And the Will Smith benefited maybe from the hot sunny day. Afternoon game. Trey Turner 1 for 2. Tied up there, strike 1. This guy's headed into free agency this offseason, part of a loaded shortstop class. Now an 0-1 from Darvish. He chops one gently left side. He leads the majors in infield hits, but Manny Machado has one of the all-time cannons.
Wow. Manny might have thought that was 3 outs, so he's going to have to go back to third base.
It should be worth 2. Let's be honest.
It really should. There was 0.5% chance of getting him out when the ball came off the bat. I'm telling you, you're sitting at home, you have no idea how hard of a play and how perfect a throw against a guy who can flat out run. And he knew it as soon as he let go, and I think right here he thought, okay, that's the 3rd out, but that's okay. He can take his time to get back to 3rd.
He's saying, did you see that play? You're not going to give me 2 for that. He makes everything look easy, even the most impossible plays like that. Manny Machado smoothly pulls off. 2 gone. Here's Freddie Freeman. Homer in the first, single in the second. Crushed the homer. The single
crushed his bat.
Yeah. One on one.
Freddie has such a rare combination of power, and I know they still shift him. I think it's dumb because he can hit the ball anywhere he wants.
Leads the majors in opposite field hits. Yet you look at the defense and you wouldn't know it.
All right, same scenario right here as you see the splits of where he hits the ball. Same scenarios earlier in the game. He threw him that comebacker fastball, but then threw a breaking ball that Freddie hit a home run.
Flies one to right center field. Zokar moves over to put it away. Oh my goodness! Off his glove. Freeman's at second. A nightmare of a Saturday afternoon going on for Jose Zokar and right.
Wow. I mean, that is just a play that he'll make 100 out of 100 times, but Freddie thought it was 100 out of 100 and ended up getting a second.
It's a weird game we cover here, John. This man makes a play that nobody has any business making, and then that happens one batter later. Padres have made fewer errors than any team in baseball. That one obviously won there. And the Dodgers will try to take advantage of a misplay from Zokar the way they did in the second inning, when he couldn't catch 2-out line drive from Gavin Lux, and Trey Turner followed it with an RBI hit. Will Smith stands in.
And what people don't understand is typically, okay, an error was made, but what the error does in a game like this, it's 5-0. It just adds a lot more pitches to a pitch count that you hope he can get a next hitter out in 3 pitches or less, but it could naturally knock him out of the game if the inning goes deeper.
In Zokar's direction, Grisham saying, I'll handle this one. Oh my gosh! Oh boy! But Grisham makes the catch. Nearly a disaster over there. First scoreless inning of the day for Darvish.
Show me MLB standings.
All right, Siri, thanks. NL West standings. Dodgers trying to extend the lead in the division to 4.5 games, which would be their largest over the Padres this year. It's ball one on Ha-Seong Kim. If you ask Siri for the American League standings, you'd see the Yankees sweeping a doubleheader today, and now 58-21, 7 games better than anybody else in baseball.
It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's really been a tale of a team that is always known to hit, but is pitching like a team that's going to win the World Series.
3-0 on Kim. Tyler Anderson, 4 scoreless innings as he tries to move to 9-1 on the year. Tries to bounce back from his first loss. Game against his old team earlier this week in Colorado. No runs on 3 hits through 4. Pops the mitt, strike 1.
A little surprising the Dodgers didn't score in that game, right?
Yeah, he's gotten really good run support. Oh, you're talking the one, yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah,
when they got shut out. It's hard to do.
Now in the corner, and the count goes full on Kim. Come on back.
I have a feeling he needs to swing.
It's a good move in this sport. He does. And flies it to left for Gavin Lux. 1 away here in the 5th. The inaugural USFL Championship game is live from the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton. The Birmingham Stallions, the Philadelphia Stars, head-to-head in a quest to take home the historic first title at 7:30 Eastern tomorrow on Fox. Who you got?
Well, since it was birthed in Birmingham,
Yeah,
I'm going to go there.
I think that's great reasoning since our Panthers aren't in it.
Panthers.
Here's Trent Grisham. Strike 1. Struck out his first time, 1 of 3 for Anderson.
It's just amazing when you're having that kind of year and you're struggling. It seems like every pitcher throws the first pitch paint for a strike. Then they make a great quality pitch and you're 0-2. It feels like you're 0-2 all the time. And Grisham is there again.
Chases, strike 3. Strikes out for the second time. Anderson gets his 4th. Meanwhile, for him, for the pitcher right now, it feels real good.
Yeah, well, his angle to left-handers is outstanding. You know, it seems like throwing strikes to left-handers shouldn't be an issue for him at all. With right-handed batters, he's trying to paint the outside part of the plate to set up that lane for that changeup, and he's missed the last couple hitters away.
Ball 1 on a Zokar. He's had an adventure out there in right field, but did snap an 0 for 12 at the plate with a base hit in the 3rd. On this 1-0 pitch. Lifts it off the end of the bat, down the line. Here comes Taylor. Can't quite get there. Zokar in a dead sprint gets to second.
You know, that young man wishes he could have a couple plays back, but at least he gets a double to check in the books. Big swing off the end of the bat, change up. You can see right off the end of the bat. And Taylor, what a great effort coming all the way in and just couldn't come up with it. The Dodgers now have held the Padres 1 run over the last 22 innings.
Profar 3 doubles over the first 2 games of this series. 0 for 2 today. Runner at second, 2 gone. Ball 1.
Time.
Jurickson Profar, of course, the one-time top prospect in all of baseball. Got to the big leagues when he was 19 years old. You know, the prodigy arrives, goes up there for the first time, homers in his first at-bat. Then he tore his shoulder. He missed 2 full years, and when he missed time in Texas, Rougned Odor showed up. He got the shoulder healthy, but there was no spot for him. So he didn't become an everyday player until 2018, way after he had made that debut. He goes to Oakland, where Bob Melvin was his manager for the first time, had a good year there. Traded to San Diego, big 2020, signed a 3-year extension, and after a bit of a step back last year, has justified that extension with a really nice 2022. Fun player, fun personality to watch. The always smiling Jurickson Profar takes a strike, 1 and 2.
Maybe caught guessing right there. Thinking off speed and got the fastball. Now he's got to go into protect mode. He's been really good against left-handed pitchers, putting ball in play. Really second best in all of baseball, putting the ball in play against left-handed pitching.
He does, but weakly to short. Trey Turner ends the inning. Halfway home in Los Angeles. The Dodgers 5, the Padres nothing as Baseball Night in America rolls on Fox. Yu Darvish to Max Muncy. Strike 1. We begin the bottom of the 5th inning. Turner and Bellinger to follow. Dodgers have 5 runs on 8 hits against Darvish, who fires an 0-1. Popped out of his hand, ball 1.
When you think about the blueprint of success for the Dodgers so far, no one's surprised by the pitching. But you can't keep winning games, or at least you wouldn't think, with your 4, 5, 6 doing nothing and the top and bottom doing everything. I mean, eventually these guys are going to get hot, and that's bad news for the rest of the league.
Yeah, and it's been like that most of the year, where they're still the #1 offense in baseball, but it's been the top of the order. It's been Taylor and Lux at the bottom of the order. These guys in the middle, Muncy, Turner, and Bellinger, all having their worst years. This weekend, though, those 3 guys have combined to hit 5 home runs. On a 1-2 pitch, Muncy.
One side.
Wow, that one just misses. 2 and 2.
Great pitch right there. Fastball inside. But this is what you were talking about. I mean, that's hard to fathom, because you put your 4, 5, 6 there for a reason. Those are your thumpers and the guys that make it tough on the opposing pitcher.
Oh.
These are the kind of innings right here. I would ask my catcher, hey, what are you having trouble seeing as a catcher? Because with the shadow the way it is, if he's having trouble seeing something, that's what I want to throw, because that means the hitter's going to have a hard time seeing it.
Yeah.
And so I'm always going to ask him, what is it? Spin? Is it fastball? You know, what are you not picking up out of my hand?
Impossible. Comes back and gets him. For the first out of the inning, 7th K for Yu Darvish. Dodgers have been without Mookie Betts for the last couple of weeks. Went down with a fractured rib and an outfield collision with Cody Bellinger. They said initially 2 to 3 weeks. There was some thought that it was probably going to be longer than that, but he's progressed way faster than they had imagined. There was a chance he's activated tomorrow. This is before the game today. And Dave Roberts said that very well may be as a second baseman for a few days. Throwing is what was bothering him the most. And obviously those are shorter throws there than the right.
Well, he's a great athlete. Can play all over the place, utilize his speed. Great hands, not only in the field but at the plate. Quick bat. And it lengthens the lineup when he's in it, and adds a lot more dimension of speed.
Inside.
Kenny, you had a chance to catch up with Mookie today.
He's pretty much ready, Joe, and he hit off a right-hander and a left-hander's day, took ground balls at second, shagged in the outfield as well. It all depends now just on how he comes out of the workout. The one concern he's going to have when he comes back is diving, whether on the bases or in the field, which is why he might come back at second. He's not going to come back as a DH. He wants to be in the field, but he said the impact on his cracked rib, if he dives, that's going to hurt. He doesn't want to do that.
You got to think about the long game, too. I mean, that's something that you aggravate, and this is how it happened. You aggravate that thing, that could linger and ruin your year.
Yeah, I'm trying to think that the chances of diving at second are greater than they are in the outfield. I think you can control whether you're going to dive in the outfield or not. It would be harder to react in the infield about diving. Granted, if you're diving in the outfield, you're running a long ways to do that. So I get the essence of it. Either way, him in the lineup, wherever he's at, whether he dives or not, makes them so much better.
Well, and what it does is there's a domino effect to that that's going to impact that middle part of the order.
Right.
Trey Turner moved into the leadoff spot when he went down. There's a good chance Betts is back in the leadoff spot. Turner moves down to third. That's where Will Smith is. So then Smith, who's having an all-star caliber season, is now part of that struggling part of the lineup. Bellinger pops this one foul.
Every team. I mean, it's the theme of every year. Injuries are part of baseball. And this Dodger team has had its share of injuries, but you can't tell it in the standings.
Bouncing ball, that spray chart holding true with a pulled bouncer. Kim throws him out, and Yu Darvish has settled in over the last couple. Nothing game to the sixth inning we go. Tyler Anderson, nothing but zeros to this point.
Been good as advertised. That's really what he's been doing all year. Mixing and matching, staying out of the heart of the zone. Trace Thompson and right.
Manny Machado at the plate. Machado avoided the IL stint, what would have been his first IL stint since 2014. And rightfully has a ton of pride in that streak. So he immediately said to the Padres, look, like, I don't want to go on the IL. I'll find a way to get back. The issue is controlling the swelling in the ankle. It would keep on popping up, and because getting on an airplane swells the joints, he had somebody drive him to the road series in Phoenix and then drive him to LA. That's a 6-hour trip just to make sure that he would be ready to play in this series. He didn't want to take the risk of getting on the plane and having the thing swell back up and keep him out a few more days.
Pretty impressive.
MVP caliber season. In his 4th year in San Diego. And he's got a 4-pitch walk to open this 6th.
And see, that's the difference of the right-handed release point facing the right-handers. Then he gets a left-hander. Watch the difference when Cronenworth gets up there. His vision and his arm angle and the pitches will be totally different, in my opinion, what I've seen so far. And so that's not a walk you want with 5-0 lead, but walks today in manufacturing runs would still have to come via the home run, you would think, in the way the style of the game is played. So walks, you know, they always tell you walks will haunt you. But they haunt you in a different way.
Anderson on the year, one of the lowest walk rates in the league. Ball one on Cronenworth. And here comes Will Smith for a visit. Well, the Padres 46-33, one of the best records in the National League. Starting pitching has been fabulous. Starters are going deeper into games than any staff in baseball. That's been a huge part of the equation. The defense has been exceptional. Fewest errors in the National League, turning batted balls into outs, #1 in the National League. And the offense overall has not been great. It's been better lately, more than 5 runs per game over the last few weeks. Those 3 dimensions, though, lacking today. Darvish gives up the 3 home runs in the first inning, 5 runs over 5 innings to this point. Defense has been sloppy, and offensively, 2 runs in 3 games in this series.
I know it said only 1 error. It's questionable whether or not, you would think if you asked the young right fielder for San Diego, he'd say I should have had that first one too, which led to a run.
So would you, Mr. Pitcher Man, wouldn't you? 2-1. Had some opportunities, 3 out of 17 with runners in scoring position in the few games, though, and with men on base, 3 for 29.
Yeah, that's been the difference. That's how good the pitchers for the Dodgers have been with traffic on base.
Cronenworth punches one left side. Turner's got to wait on it, so the only out is at second.
Yeah, this ball early in the game looked like he had it the whole way, and then these 2 did not land in the glove, and that one being the most egregious. And his teammate was going to just kind of give him a break. Say, I got this. Let me help you out.
I got you, buddy. Help me help you. There's Okar, rookie. And, we talk about the Tatis injury, and that's obviously the big one, but they're also without Will Myers, who wasn't having a good season, but has been a consistent component of that lineup through the years. He's been out with a knee injury for the last month plus. So it's all over the field. They're having to fill holes. 0-1 on Luke Voit. I'd like to see you show up to work with this look. Show a little, John. Like,
well,
do a couple buttons.
I have to get a much smaller shirt. Make me look that I have more muscle than actually I do. So he just he's bigger than your average guy.
Swings and misses. 0-2. Guy with a football background. It probably doesn't surprise you to hear. A lot of people thought that was where his sports career was headed. He was a football star in Missouri in high school. Linebacker. Mounted his game after Brian Urlacher. She had a brother. Played football at Army. He's a baseball player with a football mentality, though. Football intensity.
With a violent swing, and one that right now just hasn't made enough contact.
Luke was hardly recruited as a high schooler in baseball. He's all set to go to a junior college. And then his high school coach got him a walk-on spot at Missouri State. In Missouri State, he never hit 300. He never hit more than 6 home runs in a year. But he got drafted, although as a 22nd rounder. Down swinging here. But kept on beating the odds. Got to the majors. And at the age of 29, led the majors in home runs. 2 gone in his 6th inning as Anderson gets his 5th K. And here's Jorge Alfaro.
Well, for the rest of the game, at least the hitters are going to see the pitcher in the shadow with them, so no light to darkness coming out of the release point. Still a little bit in that background of behind him.
Was there a place when you were pitching where the shadows were particularly tough on hitters?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really always depended on the time of game. When you have those rare time of games or a doubleheader that starts, I mean, sign me up. Like, that's when I want to pitch.
Is there a certain ballpark where the shadows are worse than others, though, or is it just any shadow is going to mess with you?
I think there are some parks, Wrigley's kind of more of, it isn't as spread out as obviously this ballpark is. And where the sun always, but this is, you never have clouds here.
So no, it's a wonderful thing.
You have more true opportunity for shadows on a consistent basis than in other places that, typically we're going to have more clouds than this place.
Folks of LA and the folks of San Diego A couple things in common. They see a lot of good baseball and not very many clouds.
Right.
Two gorgeous cities. Spread and speeds. He's popped 93 with the fastball. He's dropped the changeup to 76 on his way to 5 2/3 shutout innings. Tyler Anderson trying to get to 9-1. 32-year-old out of Las Vegas, having a career year here in his first year with the Dodgers. Gets one by Alfaro, and the count evens 2-2.
Tried to go in, but got the fastball by him at the belt. Almost begs for a changeup here if he wants it.
Runner at first, 2 away. 2-2 pitch.
Now this All-Star game is going to have some local flavor written all over it between the Angels and the Dodgers. Some stars between those two cities.
Yeah, Ohtani and Trout coming up from Anaheim. All-Star game coming to Dodger Stadium for the first time since 1980. It'll be 2 weeks from Tuesday, right here on Fox. Trey Turner, the leading vote getter among shortstops. Mookie Betts, one of the leading vote getters among outfielders. For the Padres, Manny Machado has a good chance to start at third. Another 2-2 from Tyler Anderson, who finishes off 6 shutout innings against the Padres. Yu Darvish, who gave up 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, still in there as we go to the 6th. Jake Lamb leads off for the Dodgers, and a first pitch curve for strike 1.
This is a professional outing by a starting pitcher that desperately needed to give his team some innings. Even though he's on the wrong side of a 5-0 game, he's doing exactly that.
In on Lamb, bounce to first, and Voit to the bag for the first out. The regular season well underway. Anything can happen. Follow @MLB on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube so you don't miss a thing in 2022. And Darvish doing something that's on brand for these Padres, pitching deep into the game, finding a way to go deep. They average 5 2/3 per start, riding what is their biggest strength and their strength or their area of depth.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think 5 2/3 is something a lot, but in today's world it is. Collectively, out of those 5 starters,
Trace Thompson down the line, foul.
that was the strength they were going to have out of spring training, and so it was an emphasis that they wanted to utilize, and they're doing it the way you need to do to be a really good team. You're going to have some starters pitch some innings, so credit to them. They are going in a 6-man rotation, which is an interesting philosophy in and of itself, and I'll explain that here in a second, because if you have a lot of flamethrowers, I think it does the chances does more harm than good, because if you have guys that max out, then they think they can max out even more with an extra day of rest, right? Well, they don't necessarily have general just flamethrowers. They have guys who rely on stuff, so it's worked out.
And let's remember last year we were talking about the Padres, how they faded down the stretch. The bullpen got used a ton in the first half because the starters weren't going deep.
Correct.
The bullpen was the biggest reason for the collapse down the stretch last year. Injury is a big part of the whole equation in every phase, but they're hoping that pen is more rested for the push drive this year. Lost 34 of their last 46. Thompson down on strikes. 2 gone in the 6th inning in our first game break of the day. What's going on, Kevin Burkhardt?
Left fielder, number 9, Gavin Lux.
Man, they got an MVP candidate there too, and Paul Goldschmidt. It's Arenado today, though, with the 2 home runs. That's the ball on Lux. Are the Cardinals the team to beat in the Central?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a 2-team race the entire way. I think Milwaukee's got to find some offense. Their pitching is really, really good. St. Louis is finding that offense and pitching adequately, of course, to get to that record.
Outside.
It's been a strange kind of seesaw event in that league, with Milwaukee getting off to a really strong start. Probably a big balance of that, of course, was their starting pitching and their bullpen. They've got the top 3 in each. The starting and the bullpen is pretty good combination for them to win. Their offense got some holes, a lot of swing and miss. So we'll see. I don't think anyone's going to run away. That's for sure.
In this division, these 2 teams separating from the Giants lately. Giants losing 9 of 12. And then in the East, it looked like the Mets were going to run away, but here come the Braves, and the Mets fading a little bit.
Yeah, I think the balance of that division, we all felt that would be tighter, but the Mets have I think collectively put together the best roster, but they have been dealing again with the same injuries for the last 5 years in their rotation. I don't mean the exact same, but the theory, the injuries keeps coming up, and they've had a great year, and they're waiting for Scherzer to get back and DeGrom.
Scherzer very close. DeGrom about to ramp up and make his season debut. A 3-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Yu Darvish with a season high 10 strikeouts, able to bear down and get through 6. Back here in sunny Los Angeles. What a perfect Saturday afternoon it is here in LA. Temperature in the mid-80s, bright sunshine above. Perfect night for baseball. On a 5-0 lead for the Dodgers, on to the late innings. Tyler Anderson keeps on going. 6 scoreless innings. Delivers to Austin Nola.
Outside.
Outside, ball 1.
Well, probably going to be his last inning. He's got to throw some strikes to finish up what has been a really good outing. You know, I know we're close to halfway, getting right there.
Yeah.
And I think the second half of the season we get in September.
Muscled into shallow center field to drop in for a base hit.
I think there's going to be some exciting races for these last couple spots that have been created in the playoffs. And of course, there's going to be a race for the best 2 records in baseball in each league, because you get rewarded there. And I really am interested is going to see with some of the teams the moves they make and strengthen their chances, because typically, you know, in the years past, you didn't have the kind of spots that were there to.
Ha-Seong Kim with the leadoff man aboard here in the 7th inning. You saw Brusdar Graterol starting to warm in the Dodger bullpen. It's going to be interesting to see with more playoff teams, or more playoff spots, how that affects how teams operate going into the deadline. Ken Rosenthal, you know as much as anybody about such things. What do you think about these 2 squads?
Well, this is a different kind of deadline, no doubt, but the needs here are becoming clearer. Now with the Dodgers, they have to find out exactly where their pitchers are. Walker Buehler, Dustin May, Tommy Kahnle, Danny Duffy, so many pitchers on the injured list. They'll have to gauge that and then proceed from there. Obviously, they probably could use a starter, bullpen help as well. The Padres for sure need bullpen help, and what they do with the offense probably depends on Tatis. If he plays center field, well, that kind of solves the outfield. Will Myers comes back, platoons with Mazzara in right. They've got some improvement there.
Into center field, Kim with a base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Padres to open this 7th. Something brewing against Anderson. And there's Fernando Tatis Jr. Getting closer to seeing him playing, Kenny.
Probably end of July, Joe. But what's interesting is that at the end of last season, he said, hey, A.J. Preller, the general manager, he signed a shortstop, and he's going to have a shortstop. I'm not planning on moving for a very long time from there. But when I spoke with him yesterday, he was much more open to the idea. And one reason is it could shorten the length of his rehabilitation assignment. If he's got to go back to short, that would take more time. If he's playing center field, it would be shorter. And listen, Kim is the better defensive shortstop. There's not much doubt about that. So this could be an option for the Padres. It's one they're looking at.
Well, and very clearly, the bigger need for the Padres is outfield, with Kim holding down shortstop. Grisham fouls it off, and it's 0-2. They could get Trent Grisham going. That could change that conversation. 0-2 today with a couple Ks, but the average at 190. The OPS below 700.
And he hasn't seen many pitches in those strikeouts. It's been quick. He got 8 pitches. And they're all strikes.
So he's almost got an immaculate inning himself.
Just with this hitter.
Fly ball left field. Nola tagging as Lux goes over to make the catch. Padres getting the board on a sacrifice fly from Trent Grisham. It's 5-1 as Nola scores. Looks like that'll be the last batter that Tyler Anderson faces. Brusdar Graterol is ready. Dave Roberts comes out. Jose Zokar will come up. Last time Tyler Anderson was on that mound, he took a no-hitter into the 9th inning. This time he cruises into the 7th in a well-deserved hand. Don't worry one bit if you didn't win Big Papi's money this week. Next week, Fox Bet Super 6 is giving you another free chance to win. Just scan the QR code, download the Super 6 app, enter your picks in next week's MLB Super 6 Challenge for a free chance at $10,000. Tyler Anderson goes 6 1/3, gives up 1. The man at first is responsibility. Hard-throwing Brusdar Graterol comes on, and Bob Melvin countering with a pinch hitter and Omar Mazzara. "5-1 game in the 7th. Ball 1 on Mazzara."
Bob Melvin said that, when they got him in camp, he seemed to have a better understanding of the strike zone, and it's represented there in the 24 games. You see 288. And if you get a better representation of the strike zone, you got a better chance for success.
1-1.
Speaking of success, Anderson and Gonsolin before 2022. Combined record of 39 and 43. And now they got a chance to go 19 and 1 if the Dodgers hang on and win this game.
Saving the rotation, saving the team with the injuries to Buehler and Kershaw and Heaney.
19 and 1.
I know, man.
On a combined 4 under games 500. 2 of them together.
Sorry.
And helping the rotation, Smoltzy, not just stay afloat, but it's the #1 rotation in the National League in most categories.
Yeah, sure is. And they've have an alarming amount of games where they don't give up a run, right? 1 or less.
Yeah, historic.
Sorry.
Full count of Mazzara. So first 2 games of this series, 3-1 and 5-1. Dodgers have now given up 0 or 1 in more than a third of their games. In the expansion era, so back to 1962, this is the third highest rate that's ever happened, holding teams to 0 or 1. The only two teams that did that more frequently, both from the year of the pitcher, the 1968 Cleveland Indians and Bob Gibson's 68 Cardinals.
Man.
The pitching coach there next to Tony Gonsolin. He could throw it too, couldn't he? Mark Pryor. Mazzara lifts his ball to right center field. Bellinger back at first. Now comes on and plays it on a bounce. And a pinch hit. Blue base hit for Nomar Mazzara. Another game break. Here's Kevin again.
Left fielder number 10, Jurickson Profar.
Seven games better than any team in baseball.
That's incredible.
You got the Red Sox having one of the best months of June they've ever had, and they lost ground.
I know. Well, that's when you start putting your eyes on securing those playoff spots, and the division, well, that's not in the sights right now.
Jurickson Profar pops up the first pitch that he sees, fading, not a play. Well, the Padres one swing away from making this a different game here, and they've got one of their top hitters at the plate in Profar. 0 for 3 today. They're having a really strong season. Got 3 singles in this inning. Nola, Kim, and Mazzara. First and second, one away, and an 0-1 count. Gratterall deals 0-1. A check swing tapper foul. 0-2. Padres unable to solve those two guys you're talking about. Tony Gonsolin, Tyler Anderson. Gonsolin last night 7 2/3, longest outing of his career. Anderson coming into the day with a 3.23. CRA is now down around 3 with that line today. On an 0-2, Profar shoots it foul. Look out down in that Dodger dugout. Whew. Look out, Mark Pryor. Profar's fended off a couple 0-2 pitches. This time they come in on him and he fouls it off Will Smith.
It's hard to imagine Gratterall just, you know, there's guys that throw hard. And then there's guys that look like they're playing catch and the ball jumps out of their hand. He's that guy. Very easy. Looks like it doesn't have a lot of wasted motion.
Even with that easy gas, he doesn't miss many bats.
No, no, there's just the difference between late life and velocity.
Kim in second, Mazzara at first. Another 0-2, buzzed by the hands. 1-0-1. No fun standing in there watching that thing fly by.
See where his head was there. He yanked that pitch, that two-seam fastball.
Freeman's got it on a bounce. Takes it to the bag. 2 out. Freddie Freeman saves at least 1 run, making that play. Runners to second and third, and 2 out for Machado.
Great defensive play by Freddie. All I can think of here as we watch this replay, down the line, hop into the glove. is this matchup in the playoffs a couple years ago between Gratterall and the Padres and Manny Machado.
Yeah, Brusdar Gratterall at that point had pitched in a handful of games in the major leagues. He was on the mound when Cody Bellinger robbed Tatis, and in his celebration threw his hat, his glove, and Machado was shouting back across the diamond. Gratterall was shouting at him. The intensity rising as it has the last couple years in this rivalry. And Manny Machado has an opportunity to change this game here in the 7th. So trying to find his timing. First weekend back after missing 9 games. 1 for 7. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, people forget when a guy doesn't go on the injured list but misses time and can't really put in that timing and the work. It takes a little while to get back.
2-1. Tracking
the ball, and of course that's what's amazing about this game. So many games, 162 games, the peaks and valleys, the slumps, when you're in the zone, you never know how long they're going to last.
On a 2-1 pitch, Machado watches a 2-seamer come back in there, a 101. 101 and with movement, 2-2. Good take. That ball coming out of the same window, breaking in the other direction. Machado took it to run the count full.
Yeah, it was a good take, and it was a great pitch, really, to expand the zone after getting that call. Late break.
Second and third, 2 gone. Payoff pitch.
I tell you, Machado just has his hands close to his body, looks very relaxed, and as the pitch comes, he's looking to extend his hands. He loves the ball down. He'll hit it up, but he really likes the ball down. And you see that pitch just could not get the barrel, couldn't put his hands in position to get the barrel to that height of a pitch.
And these first few games back, Dodgers have attacked that top of the strike zone against him. Another 3-2 coming from Gratterall. Machado swings and misses. 101 gets Brusdar Gratterall out of the jam. We stretch in a 5-1 game. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Hyundai and the 2022 Tucson plug-in hybrid EVs. And by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. Sandy Koufax, one of the all-time greats. He unveiled the statue on June 18th. MLB The Show 22 is available now on PlayStation consoles, Xbox consoles, and for the first time, the Nintendo Switch system. Rated E for everyone. Finally into the Padres bullpen as Yu Darvish is able to fight through 6 innings, 3 straight zeros, keep the Padres within striking distance. This is Ray Kerr, and that's ball 1 to Trey Turner.
Heavy dose of sliders, curveballs. That's the most he'll throw, and then fastballs. Pretty evenly split. The breaking balls more than the fastball.
98 out of the left-hander. Nomar Mazara, after pinch hitting for Jose Azocar, stays in the game in right field. Ray Kerr out of Sacramento. 27-year-old rookie. Fires 1-1. Almost hit him. Ball 2. Turner, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI single, takes ball 3. Dodgers have 5 runs on 8 hits. They all came over the first 3 innings.
You know, if the Padres can't come back and win this game, it is a must win, I believe, tomorrow. I mean, it's hard to come into right at the end of this first half and get swept and lose that many games in the standing. It's a big 2-game swing. If they can't win and come back and win this game, they got to find a way to win tomorrow, because that would be slowing the momentum down really for the Dodgers.
It's at 3.5 right now. Largest deficit they've faced all year is 4. So barring a comeback win, they'll enter tomorrow's game with the largest deficit of the year. It's a leadoff walk for the speedy Turner.
And mainly the reason I say that is baseball players, when asked, are never going to answer that question like that. But internally they know we've got to turn this thing around. They know what the last 14 or 15 games have been. And so Bob Melvin is going to play it straight, and he'll lead his team into winning as many games as they can to get in the postseason. But there comes that moment where, as a team, you've got to find a way to win, to feel good walking out of here. And even though you lost the series, you didn't get swept.
This is
4-game sweeps are tough.
Yeah. Freeman. It's only the 2nd time they've played this year. They played 3 games in San Diego in April. So whatever psychological warfare happens in this series, there are a lot of games for that to play out over the final few months where this division is going to be decided.
Well, the Dodgers going into the break are set up great. I mean, I'm always intrigued. Like when you're playing, you're like figuring out, okay, how many days is the All-Star break? Let's finish strong. Where do we start after the All-Star break? Well, the Dodgers are in a great place. The bulk of their schedule and the tough part of their schedule is behind them. And they get a chance not only after the All-Star break to start back at home, but then they don't go east to Colorado, as you were talking about. We were talking about hardly at all the second half.
It was a brutal May and June. The 28 games in 26 days or something like that in June, and then a road trip they just came off of. 3 cities, got in really late from Colorado the other night, but this is the longest homestand. They have just that trip to St. Louis, and that road trip finishes with a quote-unquote trip to the Angels, so they sleep in their own beds for the Freeway Series, and that takes them into the break. Similar for the Padres, where they played 31 games in 31 days. Didn't have Manny Machado for a chunk of that. Bob Melvin was away, COVID protocols for a chunk of it, and they were able to survive that. But now these couple weeks pushing into the All-Star break, where will San Diego be when they reach that break?
Yeah, when in my playing days, I was always leery of the last 7 games. There's the schedule of the Padres, because those last 7 games can make or break. It really can. It can define your first half, or it can put you really behind an 8 ball if you're not careful and paying attention, because everyone looks towards that mid-summer break, right? Either going to the All-Star game or getting that break you desperately need to make that push in the second half. And this front door slider off the plate, but got the call. And the Dodgers have a unique Sunday off before the Monday and Tuesday All-Star game.
Three and one on Freeman.
But to finish the thought, I always felt that the last 7 games before the All-Star game and the first 7 games after the All-Star game is a 2-week component of where you see which teams are most prepared to finish that deal and start up again.
Back-to-back walks issued by Kerr to open the 7th. And you can find out who the starters are going to be on Friday this week on ESPN at 7 Eastern. The starters are revealed on Monday the 18th. The T-Mobile Home Run Derby also on ESPN. All leading up to the 2022 All-Star Game, live from right here at Dodger Stadium. Tuesday, July 19th. Starts at 7 Eastern, only on Fox. Will this man be there for what would be his first All-Star appearance? Will Smith came up in 2019 and has turned into one of the top catchers in baseball. We talked about the candidates to start the game for the National League. Some of the candidates for the American League. Who gets your vote at this point, Johnny?
Wow, I mean, what Logan Gilbert's doing is fantastic, but I think Justin Verlander, you know, if he's able, depending on how it lines up, he's had a fantastic year coming off of Tommy John, not pitching in almost 2 years and not missing a beat. Be hard pressed to not go with Justin Verlander as the American League starter, and almost as hard to not go with Gonsolin as the National League starter.
One guy who is a perennial All-Star. It'll be Justin Verlander's 9th trip to the All-Star game. One guy who nobody saw coming this year. Yeah, they had high hopes for him early in his career and continued to have those, but nobody in their right mind saw 10-0 with a Major League best ERA coming. Dodgers looking for insurance. 2 on, nobody out. 7th inning. Smith fouls off the first pitch.
Tony Gonsolin has the equalizer, in my opinion. He's got a, you know, it may not show up as the best pitch in baseball, but that split finger fastball is fantastic and takes the stress off of, you know, fastballs and sliders. I've always said, you know, pitching can be pretty similar and easy to explain if you have pitches going away from each hitter. So right-hander and left-hander, if you got a pitch going, they call them at opposite lanes, it's going to be tough to kind of square up a pitcher that can do that, and he does. He's got pitches that go away from a righty and away from a lefty, and then he can use them obviously to the same side of the plate.
Side.
2-1 on Smith. Splitter, something that you brought along in your career.
It saved me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I was known as basically a 2-pitch pitcher. I brought my curveball back, but the left-handers had their way against me. And until I came up with the split, they were loading up every left-hander that was on the roster.
Did it at first bother your forearm? Because you hear guys talk about how much it.
I didn't throw what. There's a fork ball and a split, and I basically had what would be the grip of a 2-seamer with my fingers just a little bit outside the seams, and the ball fit real good coming out like a fastball. And that natural release point had this kind of dive away from a left-hander approach, and that's kind of the split. You know, what Gonsolin done is he used the combination of every quadrant of the strike zone. He can throw up, down, in, out, and change speeds, and that is a great weapon to have. Gausman probably has one of the best splits in the game.
Making a little bit of a comeback. I mean, for a while there, nobody was throwing a splitter. Yu Darvish is somebody who has one, and it'll come and go on how much he uses it. But Gausman's got his.
Otani's got a pretty good one.
You go back to the 80s, everybody was throwing one. Giants popularized it with Roger Craig.
Yep. And Roger, more of the mindset with the fork ball, which is it digs in more. Jack Morris had the fork ball, split finger, however you want to classify it.
3-2. That's the 3rd walk of the inning, issued by Ray Kerr to load the bases.
Kerr's release point not on point at all.
Stammen joining Nabil Chrismat. And Max Muncy coming to the plate with a chance to break this game open.
He's picking the wrong guy to come to the plate with the bases loaded, who doesn't expand the strike zone after coming off of 3 walks himself.
One ball, no strikes. Only Juan Soto has a higher walk rate in baseball than Muncy. Scary thing is, though, you touch too much of the plate, he's the kind of guy that'll hammer it when he's right. On a 1-0 pitch, he does on a line to deep right field. Mazzara makes a running play. Now, what has been a trouble spot for the Padres today, sparkling defensive play right there by Mazzara, who replaced Zokar earlier. It does bring home Trey Turner, and it's 6-1 LA.
I don't think people know how great of a play this is. This ball was hit on a line, 1-0 pitch, that inner third that he likes so much. And being left-handed really helped him there. And he made that look routine.
That appears it'll do it for Ray Kerr. Bob Melvin makes the change in a 6-1 game. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need, and by Capital One. What's in your wallet? MLB.TV is now $94.99. Watch all out-of-market regular season games live or on demand, plus MLB Big Inning. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Good weekend series going for Justin Turner, who comes to the plate here. He had one of the 3 first-inning home runs for the Dodgers. Off Yu Darvish, who was still able to go 6 innings, season-high 10 Ks. But a 6-1 lead for the Dodgers as Craig Stammen comes in with runners at second and third.
Fastball, slider, curveball against right-handers.
Outside.
Dodger lineup good overall this year, just a little bit disjointed at times. So the middle part of the lineup not doing much, but coming to life this weekend. Muncy, Turner, and Bellinger combining for 5 home runs. On a 1-0 from Stammen, Turner takes ball 2.
When you're going bad like Muncy has been going, you want that kind of ball off the bat to be rewarded. Yeah. It did get rewarded. He drove in a run, you know, got an RBI out of it. And that's the kind of feeling you want to have off the bat. You never know how it's going to translate into a hot streak.
That one found the barrel, and it's 2-2. It's felt like that kind of year for Muncy, where anytime it feels like he gets something going, he just can't find a hole. The guy makes a nice play. They're in Colorado earlier this week, and he's in the middle of a long offer. Gets on the elevator to go to the field, and the elevator is stuck. He's stuck on an elevator, and he's thinking, of course I am. But big Max Muncy pried the doors open and walked off. 2-2 to Turner in the dirt, ball 3.
Well, and that's what's so difficult about the game, because he knows that at the end of the year he's not going to get his average anywhere close to what he wants. So how can you take a week and hit 300 for a week, right? You start doing little things like that. You start shortening your thought process and start going pitch to pitch. Well, easier said than done, but that's the only way you get out of it as a pitcher. If you've already got a high ERA, you got to go on a stretch run. You got to have the next 2 starts or the next start. And that's the only way, because you can get in the glass half empty and stay there. It's a game that'll beat you up.
3-2. Turner flies it to right center field. Freeman tagging at third. Here he comes. Here's Mazzara's throw. Cut off by Voit. 7-1 on a sacrifice fly from Turner.
Well, perfect example of what Dave Roberts told us. No matter what his average is, he knows how to drive in runs. And he took a 3-2 pitch, didn't try to do too much, got a sac fly out of it. And in a game that's close, in a game late in the year in the postseason, that is why he loves him having the lineup.
Second run batted in today by Justin Turner, 43rd on the year, which is 3rd on the team. Now with 2 away, here's Bellinger. Dodgers still don't have a hit since the 3rd inning. Taking advantage of 3 walks and a couple sac flies here in the 7th. Reyes Maranta getting ready.
Even though he's 0-3, he has a different look to me. He just looks a little bit more hitterish than he has in the past. I know after that MVP type year, man, the expectations went through the roof, and unfortunately it's been kind of a tailspin since then. You know, he's always been like that rubber band. You stretch, and then let go. That's the kind of violent swing that he has, and his momentum is to stay tall still and then go towards the pitcher, and that can have its challenges, especially if they throw pitches up, where it's going to be tough for him. He's got a long swing that he really wants to think down in the zone.
Ahead in the count here, 2-1 coming from Stammen. Bellinger flies it to center field. Grisham drifts on, makes the catch, ends the inning. Dodgers take advantage of a few walks to score twice. Looking to make it 3 in a row over the Padres. 7-1 to the 8th on Baseball Night in America. Dodgers scoring runs in different ways today. 3 home runs in the 1st inning. They don't have a hit since the 3rd, but they got a pair in the 7th, 3 walks, and a couple sac flies. Reyes Maranta, the former San Francisco Giant, has been a nice find for the Dodgers. Came up about a month ago, and he has an ERA around 2 in his 11 games. Jake Cronenworth pops the first one up. 1 pitch, 1 out.
That's the best way to come into a game.
Now, the Dodger bullpen has been the area right there with the starting pitching hit really hard by injuries. Blake Trinan, one of the top relief arms in baseball, has been out much of the year with an arm issue. Daniel Hudson, who stepped into his spot as the highest leverage guy outside the 9th inning, he tore his ACL last weekend. And so the Dodgers have had to shuffle through many pieces, and how many times have we seen this through the years where they find guys that nobody's ever heard of or nobody's ever seen have success, and they show up pitching for the Dodgers and do things they've never done.
That's incredible when you look at what they've done, and collectively it just feed off of each other. And even if it's in a
Luke Voit lifts his ball to left center field. Bellinger turns and watches it fly. Wow, that thing was up there forever. Skyscraping home run, number 10 of the year for Luke Voit.
never a good sign as a pitcher when your outfielders are looking straight up in the air and they're not moving too fast.
And the city where the term moonshot was coined at the Coliseum. Wally Moon launching balls like that over the short and tall wall at the Coliseum. That was a true moonshot. 111 miles per hour off of the bat of Voit. And now Alfaro fouls back a fastball.
I mean, that is right down central. He knows it. Everybody else knew it there. They were just giving the courtesy jog.
And they snap the Polaroid. Capture the moment.
Kind of want to develop that film when you're winning 7-2, though.
Yeah. Yeah, get a better page in the album for sure. 1-2. Alfaro's been a nice piece. First season with the team. So much promise early in his career, coming up in the Rangers system. Then to the Phillies, then to the Marlins. Down swinging here. He's out number 2 in the 8th. Hey, want to see a brave third base coach?
Yeah, I don't understand those. That's the old good way to hurt your elbow. Not for him, for the guy on the receiving end.
Yeah, Matt Williams over there, the third base coach. He's a tough guy, though.
You know what's amazing?
Yeah.
Matt, back in the day that pitching it, was considered like the size of Voit. And the guys today are bigger and stronger and huge, right? But Matt was one of the bigger guys in the game that hit for power and average.
Nola serves one the other way. Second hit of the day for Austin Nola. And here's Kim. There was a remember in the postseason in 2020, it was a celebration, a little more aggressive version of that. Cody Bellinger knocked his shoulder out of the socket doing that. Had to have surgery. Smith out to talk with Maranta. A good sleep can get you a once-in-a-lifetime experience at the Field of Dreams this August. Enter to win MLB's Season of Dreams sweepstakes. Presented by Mattress Firm at MLB.com/Season of Dreams. Couple hits today for Kim. Wild pitch here will allow Nola to take second. Speaking of that Field of Dreams giveaway, I can't wait for that.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
It's no way to really prepare you for, I don't think you can overhype. I mean, you can overhype most things, but I don't think this is one you can overhype. I think it's really a setting that is so unique. And even if the teams have to go out of their way to kind of alter their schedule, when they get there, they're going to experience the same uniqueness. I mean, it isn't the most convenient for some teams to get there, but when they do.
Cracked to right center field. Thompson on the move. Edge of the track. He's got it. That'll be in August on Fox. The Cubs and the Reds getting together in Iowa. 7-2, middle 8 in LA. On Baseball Night in America, the Giants and the Padres down in San Diego, or the Yankees and the Red Sox, all starting at 7 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Here we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Austin Barnes will lead off for the Dodgers. Pinch hitting for Jake Lamb with the left-handed Tim Hill into the game.
Tim Hill, you don't see many left-handers who can sling it from this arm angle. And I mean sling it he does.
Yeah, there's certain guys you see the delivery, and there's like one word that comes to mind, and that's the perfect word for what he does.
Inside.
I mean, left-handers really. I mean, he has to make a mistake for left-handers to get a hit against him. He's virtually throwing behind left-handers.
Barnes pops it into the left field. Profar coming on. Kim going out. He's got it. One gone in this 8th inning. We're talking about the Yankees and the Red Sox playing next weekend. How about the teams on the coast? The Angels got off to a great start. All 4 of these teams were in first place. Angels have faded, but we're about to have 3 of the 4 coastal teams in first place on July 4th for the first time.
Like ever.
Ever. Strike 1 on Trace Thompson.
You don't think Trace Thompson wants to kind of equal what his brother did, do you?
Win a title.
Get a ring.
Couple.
Yeah.
Here he wants to get back at his old team. Started this season with the Padres. Was great in AAA. Went 1 for 14 in the majors, though. He thought that he pressed, getting another opportunity in the big leagues. They sent him to the Tigers. And the Dodgers picked him up in a trade a second time, getting Trace Thompson. He was with the team in 16 and 17, but they got him in a trade on June 21st. And he's been productive since they acquired him.
Got a couple big hits in Atlanta. Some comeback victories for the Dodgers there. We couldn't play the area code game today. I mean, we could in the first 3 innings, but it really is not an area code. 3-1-1's not. It's just like a fictitious.
It's a fake area code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought we had the makings of something the way this game was going, but
just a bunch of fake area codes. Kenny, you've got more on Trace Thompson.
Well, we all know his brother Clay, the older brother, is a study in perseverance, overcoming the injuries that he did. But Trace, too, has persevered in his own way. Now, there's a guy who has been designated for assignment 5 times, granted free agency 3 times, claimed off waivers, traded twice, and released once. He told me during the offseason he went through his storage unit in Orange County and he noticed how many different team bags he had. Trace has been around.
And winds up back here in L.A. It's been an important piece with Mookie Betts out. Dodgers getting Betts back as early as tomorrow, potentially. Here's Lux with 2 away. Blossoming here in his 4th season. Top 10 in the league, hitting .293. And just kind of hanging there in the bottom of the order, setting the table for the big 3 at the top. And doing exactly what Dave Roberts and the Dodgers coming into the year asked him to do. Try to be a .300 hitter, old school guy that gets on base, scores runs. It's Alex Vesia getting ready for the 9th inning, and Gavin Lux has filled that role perfectly.
Well, if he gets a hit off of this guy, you know he's locked in because he's throwing behind him.
Bouncing ball to second. Cronenworth ends the inning. On to the 9th inning we go. Alex Vesia coming on, trying to lock this one down for the Dodgers. Alex Vesia grew up not far from San Diego in Alpine, California. Came to the Dodgers last season. Had a great year. This year not quite as dominant, but still one of their key components. Found to try and get the last 3 outs of a 7-2 game. Trent Grisham. 0 for 2 today. Knocked in one of the 2 Padres runs with a sac fly in the 7th.
He needs to swing at the first pitch. Come out of his normal routine here. But he won't.
No. Well, John, the Padres are looking at exactly what you talked about, and that is you don't come back here. You're looking at as must-win of a game as you can find in early July.
I agree. I mean, it's definitely that big swing of 2 games that either puts you 4 games back before you got here and you left, 4 games back, or only 2 more back of what you first started this series. And statistically, it's hard to sweep 4 games, but the way the Dodgers have had this Padres number, I'm sure those statistics won't be accurate.
Outside. 1-2.
One, 2 from Vesia. It's high on Grisham, and it's 2-2. Padres will fall to a season high 4.5 games back. Still with some cushion over the Giants, and still very squarely in the postseason picture. The added wild card team.
Outside.
A little bit outside. Count goes full. A team like the Padres, with how good they are starting pitching wise, how deep that rotation is, it's one of the teams you say you just got to get in if you're the Padres. And I think anybody wants to face those dudes in a short series.
No, and that's the beauty of finding a spot in the postseason.
One out.
He's had to face some lefties and face some tough pitches. It feels like when he's gone up there, everyone's made their perfect pitch against a guy when he's struggling.
First major league at bat for Matthew Batten. 27 years old. He was a 32nd round draft pick, but it's just hit every step of the way. All around game that the Padres fell in love with. Seeing him in the minors, seeing him in spring training. And he got called up this weekend thinking he was part of the taxi squad. And he goes in to introduce himself to Bob Melvin. And Bob says, not only are you here, you're actually active. And you're going to be a big leaguer. His first big league at bat begins with a strike and a breaker.
Always a cool moment to see that one at bat or that one pitching performance you'll never forget, no matter what the outcome is. You want it to be good, but you'll forget a lot in between, but you won't forget this moment.
Takes a hack at a fastball, and it's 0-2. Out of Connecticut originally, Quinnipiac for school. Oh-2 from Alex Vesia is a little bit low, ball 1. Clayton Kershaw goes for the Dodgers tomorrow. Mackenzie Gore, the young left-hander, counters for the Padres as these teams wrap up the series. 1:10 Pacific. Kershaw and the Dodgers will be looking for a 4-game sweep. On a 1-2 pitch, Batten fouls it back.
I don't even know what made me think about this, but when you mentioned Clayton Kershaw, I saw something a while ago where you think about the majority of his career, he rarely pitches when it's chilly out or cold, right? Like below 50, I think it's a stat that blew my mind. I know he pitches out here the majority of his career, but hadn't pitched in a lot of games below the 50-degree mark, which is incredible when you think about it.
It's a good division for weather.
Yeah.
Although you never know going into Denver what you're going to get there. But he's been able to avoid anything too chilly up there. Another 1-2 coming. coldest game place you ever pitched?
Oh man, Chicago, Wrigley, early.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're a
just
Michigan guy.
not
You're
anymore.
good.
Not anymore. 31 years in Atlanta.
Yeah. Go soft fast, huh?
Oh, I mean,
know I
really fast.
Batten's worked it full.
I don't ever remember being cold growing up in Michigan.
Yeah, it's just how it was.
And then hot Atlanta became a honestly, it became a big advantage for the West Coast teams to come play us in August, you know, and vice versa. We'd go play in San Francisco and be like, man, how do you pitch in this weather when you're used to 95 and humidity?
Pop fly, foul ground. Freddie Freeman. 2 gone in the ninth. Well, Matthew Batten officially has an at-bat as a big leaguer. Fouls out to Freddie Freeman. And one more trip up there for Jurickson Profar.
Number 10, Jurickson Profar.
3 doubles over the first 2 games of the series. Hitless today. Padres with 2 runs on 9 hits, actually out hitting the Dodgers in this game. But another day where they have issues once they get traffic. Dodgers hit 3 home runs. Padres hit just 1. Dodgers out homering them 7-2 in the 3 games. Well,
I imagine Dodgers and their players, maybe a couple of them, you know, there's some motivation to get back here July 19th and make that all-star team at home. Looking at one of them.
Did you have any home all-star games?
Tommy John. Played the old National League representative in a sling.
Nice. 3-0. It's going to be a wonderful place for an all-star game here in LA. Tuesday, July 19th. Could be a Dodger on the mound to start that game for the National League. Three and 1 on Profar. That's the man we're talking about right there, the 10-0 Tony Gonsolin.
And I think, you know, the schedule that he's beyond should be a good one to put him in position if indeed he starts that game.
Strike 2, and Profar have to pick it up and come back. Teams will meet again first week in August, and they'll meet a bunch in September. 3 series over the final month between the Dodgers and the Padres. To this point, one-sided. Two-out walk. Umpire Ben May, you could hear him say, "You can go." This Profar went early on the previous pitch. And Machado gets another at bat.
13, Manny Machado.
They let him have it every time, huh? They don't boo you if you're not any good.
That's right.
Ground ball left side and through. Manny Machado with his first hit since his first at bat this weekend. And they're at first and third with 2 out.
Get a little momentum. You know, baseball doesn't really have so much carryover, you know, from, let's just say they score a couple runs here, and your carryover is your next day starting pitching, and it's like you still want to feel good, though. You want to punch a couple runs across and have some quality at bats leading into tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a day game, so similar to today, but it won't. The shadows will be much different. It will take much longer before those come into play.
Going to have some all-star game shadows, huh, with a 4 o'clock start time here. Craig Kimbrell, just in case.
Is that what the time's going to be?
Yeah, 7 Eastern. At least we go on. So 4 Pacific will go on. First pitch not too long after that. At least the pitchers that you're facing aren't the best in the world.
At least they don't throw hard or spin it.
No. Jake Cronenworth trying to keep the Padres' hopes alive here with 2 gone. Fouls off Vesia's first one. Cronenworth's a guy who's a Michigander.
Yeah,
he's probably soft like you and me.
He is now. Although San Diego's like kind of the perfect temperature, right? I mean,
yeah, I don't know if it's cool enough to keep you honest, though. It's pretty perfect. You're right. Oh, 2. And the Padres again down to their last strike. Cronenworth out of St. Clair, Michigan. Beautiful little town in the thumb right on the Canadian border. Not too far from Detroit. Baseball and hockey growing up for him. Two out, 2 strike, 7-2 in the 9th. That's it. Alex Vesia finishes the job for the Dodgers, who have taken the first 3 games of this series. 5 out of 6 against the Padres this year. 14 out of 15 against them back to last season.
Pretty incredible. It's like the Dodgers almost push a button when they smell that division lead and or teams that want to get right where they're getting. And like we talked about it tomorrow, kind of a big game for San Diego to leave here with a win.
They've got to face Clayton Kershaw as Dave Roberts' team expands its lead to 4.5, the largest deficit the Padres have faced this year. They win the first game 3-1. They win last night 5-1. And here in game 3, the Dodgers 7, the Padres 2. Tyler Anderson, another good one. The left-hander gets his 9th win of the season. Coming up next, we'll get you back to the studio. Kevin Burkhardt, Frank Thomas, and Dontrell Willis for more post-game coverage right after these messages.